Well, hi there. We'll do the second part of your pop-up V card. Remember, we didn't finish that yesterday or the other day when I was filming because I hadn't really finished figuring out how it was going to go together, but I have. I figured the rest of that out. So I cut another rectangle and cut it in the right format. So now we have one for this side over here. Okay, and one for this side over here, like that. Okay. And this piece was cut using my template. Okay, so all I did was I just put that right on the piece and then just drew a little line or make your marks and then cut that angle. And this piece is the 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so that's going to fit on the inside here where you can add your greeting. Okay, so let's get some adhesive on these pieces and get the inside done. Then we can go around to the front and do that part. All right, so and I chose to do these triangles tone on tone, so I chose the Coastal Cabana Designer Series paper, and because I've got Coastal Cabana cardstock here, you could certainly use the Bermuda Bay there and contrast it and make it match with the front, the outside base if you wanted to. Okay, let's just double check. We'll put our adhesive on this side. And again, anytime, you like the other side of the Designer Series paper better, use the other side. It doesn't have to be the side I chose. I happen to think these little polka dots were pretty fun. So, and if you had a little scrap or something left over and you wanted to do a little border across the bottom, or you want to stamp just your donkey's face in the corner, or something like that, go for it. Okay, I am not usually somebody that does that, but you certainly could. Okay, there. Okay, so that looks really nice on the inside there. So now we're going to take a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the front. I'm not going to glue it down just yet because I want to do a little decorating on the outside. So I am going to use the Bermuda Bay on this side, so I'm going to need to cut this to 5 so that I have a little border on the top and the bottom. All right, so we'll quick trim that to 5. I know using it totally sideways like this is feels a little weird, but that's okay. All right. There's that. Okay. Then I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this down. Like this. And we're going to use a little of that was here because I was using it. I wonder if I put it away. I've been cleaning up for myself. There it is. Look at that. I did put it away, silly girl. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this without going all the way around. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just right along this edge, and I'm just going to fold it over, okay, and attach it. So I'm going to need just a little longer. So that's about just over 6 inches of ribbon. Okay. And then I'm going to take another short piece and tie it around. Now you'll know how much you're going to need based on how your fingers generally tie. All right, but I know I can use a pretty short kind of a piece. All right, but for right now, we're just going to get that. And I'm going to just cover that seam. Okay, just cover it. I don't want it, you know, way in. I just want to disguise that edge a little bit. And you could even put, I need my silicone mat because now that I have exposed adhesive, it's going to stick to something. So you could even tuck a glue dot if you have one underneath the middle here. So that, because that's going to be hidden. I'll show you why in a second. But you could just tuck that so that it doesn't wobble. All right. Like that. And then that can get ready and go on the front. So we'll just go ahead and put this on the front. All right, then I'm gonna take a little piece, and you'll see I don't really feel like I need a whole lot because I'm just gonna tie a knot. Now you can put your knot at the top or the bottom; it doesn't make any difference. I actually think I'm gonna put it at the near the bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie that a little bit. Just gonna see if I can get those ends to go a little differently and snip it off a little shorter like that. Okay, then you have in your packet, you have two of these. They're the largest of the stitched shape ovals. Okay, and I'm going to put our little stand-up donkey who's got the rose in his mouth because he's so cute. So we're going to stamp him in Memento Black. Okay, and again, if you don't happen to have Memento Black or you don't want him quite that dark, you can stamp him in a lighter color for when you're coloring him. Okay, there. I'm not going to use a blends because I didn't tell you you needed more blends colors, and these are just, you could do a blender pen. You could color this rose a lot of ways. You could use watercolor pencils, whatever you want. I'm just using, I had Rich Razzleberry, and I think this one is just Jade. And so I'm just gonna finish that a little bit. Okay. There. Now I'm also not going to color the entire donkey because I gave a lot of coloring tips in the other video. So I'm not going to give coloring tips on each and every one of these. It will take forever, and you guys don't need to hear it 75 times, I promise. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of layers of the dark on the hooves, and then I'll go ahead and finish coloring him later, doing the light. He's got kind of a wild little mane up here. I'll go ahead and do that dark, and I can go back in and do more of that. I can do a little of this dark here and a little dark in his chest, and maybe a little on his, that little part of his tail. Okay. So then I would go ahead and color him all with the light and then go back and shade a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to give him and I'll probably leave that white spot here and maybe one up on his forehead so that when I go back and add more color, when I blend them together. So I may do a little extra of the light there in the edge of his neck. Let's do a little bit more there. And same under his chin. Okay. So we'll give him a little bit of darkness there, and then you can kind of decide how you want his ears, whether you want them darker on the top or the underneath here. Just going to do a little bit more like that. Okay. And then a little bit on his face. Oh, he's so cute. And then we'll give him a light nose. I'm going to be really careful to just try and do very lightest of colors there. Okay. Then I'll go back with this and just do a tiny bit like we did before along the edge of that muzzle. A little tiny bit where you might be shading there. Okay. There. I guess I lied. I really did show you all the coloring. That's all right. I just couldn't help myself. So then I'm going to go ahead and put this. Now, if you have Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana, or even whatever color you color your flowers, you could sponge around the edge. I'm going to put this up on dimensionals, because that will create a little bit of a shadow, so it won't matter quite so much that one edge is against the white part of the card. Okay, see how one part will be on against the white? It won't matter so much if you do a little sponging, or if you put it up on dimensionals, you'll create just enough of a shadow that that will be fine. Plus the stitching creates a little bit of interest on that edge. And so then he can go up here like that. And then what are our choices for? Oh, we could just do a little "Hey there, friend." Did I put that one on it? Nope. Let's throw that on a block. And put that down in the corner. And let's hope I don't have any oopses, because it's all together and I don't want to have to rebuild this whole card. Man, would that be a serious bummer. Oh, like that. Oh, Leslie Dawn. Well, how'd I do? Oh, not too bad. It's pretty disguised by the D. I bumped the edge by mistake. Because the card doesn't stay flat, it popped up and bumped the stamp, but that's okay. Remember, those people aren't allowed to criticize if they get a handmade card, especially not one like this. Now, you could also hand cut some donkeys if you wanted some fancy donkeys in there to pop up. That's totally up to you. Okay. All right. That's how you finish that card. So now we have both parts. All right.